Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay.
Did one of them just mention Tatara Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma! Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here's just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people... Great! Let's go find out what this
All right, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. If only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about her, this seems like the kind of thing she'd know about.
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started...
Oh, Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatara Suna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted...
I see. My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatara Suna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatara Suna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive for a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatara Suna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger, someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived in Tatara Suna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens?
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatara Suna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing.
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
A puppet?
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces,
No, Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please!
Oh, and please read my essay. Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think... Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Akaba, look, your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for...
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info...
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it? Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it? If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in... Ah! Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like... No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see. Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida, bad news. We just saw the... Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Sure enough.
Hey! What are you doing in the sanctuary of Suristan? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me. It was my idea to set the Balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said...
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between... As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the Balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you, considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Farmer? You mean, he's not a Harbinger anymore? I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be. Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan from...
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection.
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch. Nahida, are you serious about this? Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit. Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to... You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of the amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with... Exactly! Or what if... I understand. But sometimes
Everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it. It's my pleasure, really. You're
Paimon's still worried about this.
I was gonna contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside. Great. Then prepare yourselves. I'm going to trip.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release, so maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you're...
Fine, let's call it truce.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are going to be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you...
If there are no further objections, or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy, it's unbearable.
We can start now.
Irminsul access grid. Initiating connection.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him. Wow, so thick. Ooh.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything?
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul?
yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted.
Let's go. Stay.
Hey, so... Say what... What are you...
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best op...
These sapling things have have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
It looks the same in every direction. No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little? We're here.
What a huge...
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it.
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive...
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want...
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all...
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you... Yes, I've also invited Paimon...
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction?
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answer. Well done. Smart and attentive as always. So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today.
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on,
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatara Suna's history is still unexplained.
oh, how interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gase got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatara Suna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
Let me...
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation. Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So,
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
wait! How did you know about that?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you. Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself, and making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh?
This light, it looks similar to...
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't forget the agreement. You have—
Shh! Just what?
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace.
Is that so?
Whoa!
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally the forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accept—
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma. And it has—
So you say, Escher. But as—
My good sir.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want— What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than— None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, but that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you—
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is—
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my—
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you?
Judging from the look in your eyes,
You drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has— I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my back. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out.
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui?
Just to create a minor inconvenience.
That's it. That's why you gave us your...
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, it is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to make no mistake. Even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If he has nothing to prove to anyone.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity. Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade.
Hey,
Dottore. Good.
was that the Doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine? But why did we see things from his...
When I touched the Doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so. But it means...
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the... You know very well what that means.
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident.
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabukimono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as a mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic. The mechanic answered. Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly! So the doctor killed an innocent man.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Dottore, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright? That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend. It won't. I'll keep...
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Tevat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest...
Huh?
The reason why there are records about your brother in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was his first destination when he arrived in this world. Plus, he only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens responded?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your brother for a time. I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that?
Yes.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was
Very valuable.
good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me. Give me your hand. Can you hear my voice inside your head? No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past? Done.
Huh? What happened?
Nothing. I was just thanking her for helping me. So long. I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Oh no, he's really gone!
Oh,
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened?
It was the Balladeer's fault.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or...
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul.
We're out! And we're...
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you. I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances,
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think about... He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible! Right! You can't just rewrite history. It's like... Imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it. So, why does Paimon's so confused? Huh? history? It's unthinkable! Is that really possible in Irminsul? Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. Ugh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too? There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next? Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a week, so how about we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna... Alright, Paimon will start. First, Andrean chili chicken! Oh! What if Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. The balladeer? Is that a food too? What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something... So, the balladeer. Is that someone's name? 'Cause it sounds like a nick... Okay, sure. Where are we going? Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay?
Take it easy.
We've made it to Amanoma Smithy!
Ah, it's been a while. Of course. Go ahead. Oh. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became... Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time. But fortunately, Kaedehara Kazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, 2 clans remain of the original Gokuden 5. If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Oh, yeah, we were. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden, then...
That, in fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, he told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark... The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage by a
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives. Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphaned son was left to fend for himself. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable and powerless and destitute. The only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent-up anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan which he belonged to. His goal was, but when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? On to the next step!
Ah,
We heard the Yashiro Commission is holding a test. We didn't expect to—
you think I only make an appearance for occasions that are deemed sufficiently important? It just so happens that this Test of Courage event was actually my suggestion. But now, considering that
Oh, Paimon! In that case—
However—
sorry.
nothing.
Yippee!
As its name implies, the venue for the— once teams have been the first person to—
The winner of that round.
Precisely. Merchants raised event as such.
Paimon! We'll need to find one.
Yes, seems if a participant—
Ooh.
As for its— of course, I'm curious—
Don't worry. Even though just the thought of this event says—
I appreciate you. Anyway, as for the 3 items— oh, and a friendly word of advice.
Whoa. What did he mean by that? Oh, will there be spooky things in Chinju Forest? Anyway.
Hold it right there! Oh!
Huh? Paimon knows that voice. Oh, wait, don't tell Paimon you're here for the test.
What else? I'm sorry, but, I mean, well,
Oh?
It's a long but, change you for that event's just to get... Seriously? Can you believe that? What a group of deadbeats.
Oh,
Hey, this isn't about as leader of the arts, even if they can't get it through their stubborn... Anyway, seriously, not to mention...
and after all that time...
well, since there's no way...
Wait.
Oh, you bet I do. Yours truly is gonna be out scaring, but it's gonna take more... Come on.
No way!
Pretty please?
Forget it!
Pretty.
Fine. But don't forget, we're here to we'll help you out, just don't...
Yes! All right.
What a noisy guy. Huh. Maybe laughter is the key...
Hey, traveler, Paimon, enough chit...
Coming!
Traveler, it's been a while. If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato,
Are they out on business?
the Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent,
What do you think? Shall we go in?
if it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But see,
We'll be heading in then.
Hello, dears. Is there some... Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. What would you like to know? Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings. As for the commissioner himself, well,
So pretty much business as usual.
very...
Well, got any more questions?
You're very welcome. In fact, Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled. I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. Whenever the commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. The commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home. They say it's because Toma's a mutt. They get to talking about you sometimes too, you know. Always, Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family... It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Miss... As someone who is old and gray enough to have watched their son and daughter grow up, so in the future, if you ever do have the time, please know you are always very welcome at the Yashiro. Wonderful.
Paimon likes it here too. Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime.
Of course.
All right, goodbye for now. We're, great. Goodbye, ma'am. Don't worry.
All right.
oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep, everything's taken care of now.
Very well. Safe travel.
Well, here we are. But
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that the...
Xavier, what are you doing here?
I was in the general area, and now I'm in this specific area.
We have some questions and thought you might be able to help.
Certainly do. I've researched the furnace here in some depth. If there's anything you want to know, just ask away. Like the back of my hand? Make no mistake, I have been here a good many times, but not only that, but I've met people in Inazuma whose families used to live in Tatarasuna years ago. They said it's all, Oh, well, it's a long story. I'm told that its history is one of the most foremost forging and smelting operations in the nation, goes back around 1,000 years. Still, the furnace has had a couple of serious maintenance issues along the way.
A couple?
One was just in the last few years, the other was several hundred years ago. A fun fact, I'm not the first Fontaine tech guy to come and work on it either. There was a guy back then too. They say he was a mechanic who consulted on a technology upgrade. It seems like the technological collaboration between our two nations goes back a lot.
Hey, weren't you gonna ask Xavier something about Tatar?
Oh, I didn't realize you two were here for it.
Me neither. Paimon doesn't know what's gotten into this one today. Feels like we...
What brought this on? Did you just wake up today with a sudden burning... Sure, go ahead. A kabuki mono? I do know the word. Inazuman for those eccentric types who always go around dressed to the nines. But sadly, I've never had the pleasure, nor have I come across anything to do with a kabuki mono. Of course! Don't
Oh, we're leaving?
Oh, you're most welcome. More farewell.
Looks like you got all the information you're looking for. Sure, but keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. No matter what happens, Hey, don't... All right.
Hey, it's them!
Akaba, Sawada, you're still here?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment,
We have time. What do you want?
The same topic we discussed last...
Still looking for more info about Tatarasuna, huh?
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real Huh?
I presume you'll want to read my...
Well, what do you think?
Hey, Traveler, remember how last time Akaba was saying how he wished he could gather more information about all this? Well,
What did you find out?
it's a long story.
Wow, so many.
Well, well. So it all comes down to one man's desire for revenge. Ugh.
This new information...
Yes, okay, point taken, you were right. But that...
And they're back at it. These guys...
Oh, so sorry. Look at...
You're welcome.
Keep us in the loop if you find out anything else.
Will do. Nahida, we're here!
Traveler, Paimon.
Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time.
The balladeer? You look troubled. Is there something you need?
look so upset?
That's quite... So, this puppet known as the Balladeer erased himself from Irminsul.
But how was he even able to do...
As the Traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase themselves from Irminsul...
So, you believe this person really existed, and we just don't remember him because... well, because he...
Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do that. The Traveler comes from a world beyond to that. That's why there's no information about her in Irminsul. So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten, it's you. It's...
Paimon's having a hard time understanding this bit.
I can only make inferences based on the information we've been given. As for what kind of person he was... Something else worrying you? Something that you can't share? It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had died, right? Once the Balladeer realized he hadn't been betrayed after all, it must have completely... He couldn't keep hating humans after that. And if he thought there was a chance he could save it, the story makes sense. The Balladeer tried to achieve godhood with the Doctor's help. He was that power then enabled him to change what was recorded.
Yeah, it does make sense. It just feels so hopeless. He gave everything to do this, but it...
Please wait a moment. Found it. This should be the one. It turns out that I have a strange way of confirming everything she has told us.
What is it?
A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away and you should take a look.
Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it?
I authored this record myself.
Huh? You wrote it?
When combined with the Traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory.
Hold on. So this record survived from the past?
Yes. Any information about the Balladeer or the Kabuki Mono and other records will have been changed. But I wrote this story in a way. Changing the information in Irminsul changes to that, but Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the Balladeer and—
That's incredible!
And sending the Traveler into Irminsul with the Balladeer must have been a further precaution. I knew she'd remember. This story is abstract enough that it still resonates with the present information, but if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the one she told us. The now erased life. There was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. The monster found a family of foxes, joined them, and they became friends. The monster lived with the family day and night. Once in a while, the monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. I am a monstrosity, yet they are too foolish to see it. But the monsters soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree who had been abandoned by the humans. The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. A gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, "You are the cleverest among us. Surely you can help us find a way to solve this." The monster smiled, led the fox toward the fire, and murdered it. The gray fox's heart was turned into a beautiful drop of water, clear, spotless, and pure. The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, "The foxes have decided. You are the one who must be sacrificed. The fire was extinguished, but the kitten lived. It left that side of the mountain and found a little bird who had a broken wing. The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live. It passed away soon after. Never again would it cherish a single creature nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly how it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could only return to darkness, then it would finally be peaceful and I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds, foxes, and cats in this world. And
We solved it!
I remember now. This is not just the balladeer's story. It is his very own to become a god. He was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture, and the only reason this memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, creating a deity was just the first step. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and
it's hard to believe that this person really existed, let alone that he tried to get rid of us more than Paimon has no memory of him at all.
The balladeer agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders, and although he was unsuccessful, he still helped you. Before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail. That Conria was where your twin first came into this. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the senior ranks of the Fatui, but in all likelihood, they won't even remember their own Harbinger.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around, but still.
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you give them a chance to choose their own. To others looking on, this may seem like a pointless endeavor, but for him, never forget that even when we walk beneath dark clouds along a road filled with suffering, the light of and that is what you have been doing all along.
Yeah, Nahid is right. Cheer up. How about we go get something to eat?
Good idea. Paimon.
You got it. Come on, traveler. Let's go get a snack from one of the stalls in the Grand Bazaar. That'll be sure to lift our spirits. It must be really tough being the only one who remembers all. What should we eat first? Hey, are you gonna answer or what? Alright, whatever you want. Well, Paimon will be right here when you figured stuff out. What is it? Have you figured it? Why'd you jump up?
Excuse me, boss. There seems to be a small problem with the last bill. Look.
Hey! Hey, wait!
You mean me?
No, not you. That kid! Didn't you... Look, if you're gonna help out here, you can't keep spacing out, okay? What is it? Work's too boring for you?
I wasn't paying close enough attention. I think you're right. Maybe it's the city. It's so exciting.
Who's that guy? You know him or something? He's who?
You're a strange one. I don't want to take advantage, so I'm happy to pay you what I'd pay anyone else. But if you keep acting like this, pretty...
No, please. I mean it. You don't need to pay me anything. I'm just so thankful.
You're welcome, I guess. But I got bigger things to worry about. Look.
Leave it to me. I'll find some more.
Stop. I'm gonna level with you, kiddo. I've never met a worker who said they didn't want a wage before. And at first, I got greedy. Couldn't believe my luck. But I figured you'd start asking for something in return. You don't want money. You don't take days off. And in your free time, all I see you do is wander around, taking in the sight.
That's right. We can talk more about that later.
Hey, what do we do now? Okay, stay out of...
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Even though you say he's the balladeer, what do we put... Oh, alright.
This should be enough. Guess I should wash them. Huh? You two over there. Is there something... You've been following me all the way from the city. I'd have to be blind not to notice. Have we met before? No, we haven't met. I have no recollection.
Are you...
Sorry, but I just can't take your word.
A puppet?
Huh?
You were right! The look on his face!
I guess you do know me after all. That is not something I share with a lot of... Look, I'm just a wanderer. But seeing as you've gone through all this trouble to track me down, I'm sure... Okay, but please let me...
Are you really working for that guy? He said...
Yes, I ran in...
That's...
Let me take these back. Then I'll come...
Then let's return to the...
Here you go, boss. I'll leave...
Oh, you really went and picked...
Something's come up, and they need to borrow me.
I was just about to pay you anyway. Go wherever you...
What?
I get it, okay? You just wanted to help me out, to thank me for giving you shelter from the rain that day. Even then, I don't understand why you're so adamant that you don't want any pay. But look, it was pouring down and there you were, sauntering along without a care in the world. Like you had nowhere to be and didn't even care that it was raining. Imagine you were me for a second. It's a little weird, right? Why is this guy traveling during a rainstorm if he's not trying to get somewhere? And why is he taking a shortcut through... But anyway, taking you in didn't put me out even slightly. You don't owe me a thing for it. Certainly not all this. Your time is valuable. You know.
But I don't... No. Then I suppose this is where we say goodbye.
Don't mention it, kiddo. I've run into all kinds of characters over the years.
Thank you. All right, done.
Take it easy.
What's wrong? Huh?
Hello. I do apologize.
We found this guy in the street, but he doesn't seem to remember anything.
You say that you are trekking across Teyvat to train yourself. Many other Inazumans who describe themselves in this way call themselves...
Well, it seems more relevant in my case. To me, but these two claim that they know me. And that I have a hidden past unknown even...
I wouldn't call it the past, but rather... I don't like to rely on using terms like this often, but in your case, it seems that it ought to...
Oh, like a past...
Yes, something far more distant than...
Okay, I have to ask. Oh, you want to tell me, but you can't bring yourselves to say it. Looks like I didn't have the most wonderful existence in my... If it's that difficult to talk about, I have no doubt it will be just as difficult to hear, but I'll be able to handle it.
Is truth something you care a lot about?
Yes.
Then I'll be straight with you. In your previous incarnation, you did many things that would be considered evil. You nearly died because of what other people did, and many died because of you. As a non-human being, you hated gods and you drifted from place to place, never able to settle, even where you found status and identity. You adamantly believed that you were missing a heart. Actions rooted in persistence sometimes bear bitter fruit. Sometimes, you have...
I gave everything I had, but it barely changed history at all.
In terms of the outcome alone.
I don't think I can judge everything I've heard purely in terms of right and wrong. Each choice a person makes belongs to a specific place and time.
That is the nature of truth. If one thing is right, its opposite must be wrong. And yet...
It seems like my previous incarnation wasn't the most likable individual.
We're not trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but... yeah, we weren't your biggest fans.
If we were enemies, why are you...
This is so frustrating! This guy's supposed to be our arch enemy, but now he's just some He's got so much to answer for, but we can't make him talk because he doesn't remember anything!
Lesser Lord Kusanali, as the god of wisdom, I trust...
Yes, it's all true. I can even show you...
Please, I want to see them for myself.
Even though it will cause your present self great mental anguish?
I'm just a puppet, with no heart and no name. There is nothing in this world...
Very well.
Wait, shouldn't...
Don't worry. Whatever danger...
Traveler, could I ask you to supervise it?
Oh, good point. Give it...
Understood.
Thank you.
This looks like
Right now, you're in a dream I created using information extracted from your... These memories will show you the raw truth. But be aware that enemies may...
Sounds like an immersive experience.
You don't need to do this for me.
We never give up halfway. Well, we had to once, but that was your doing.
All right.
Wanderer, this is the Shake Pavilion. In your Balladeer incarnation, this is where the Electro Archon...
Is that because this is...
You could say that.
I hear footsteps.
This place is huge. I can't believe the landslide didn't fill it in. No, there's no way. Look at this exquisite There's some... You're awake. What happened? Not a scratch.
This man is Katsuragi, deputy to Torichiyo's adopted son, Mikoshi Nagamasa. He found the Balladeer in Shake...
And the rest is history. Well, it used to.
In the original version of events, Katsuragi was ultimately killed by...
Let me get you out of here.
During the Tatarasuna incident, Niwa was murdered by the doctor, disguised as a mechanic. The Balladeer, then known as the Kabukimono, as the second-in-command at Tatarasuna, responsibility for what had happened, but Katsuragi had sworn lifelong loyalty to Nagamasa after the latter had once saved his life. At Katsuragi's insistence, Nagamasa killed him to put an end to the...
Katsuragi seems like he was a good guy.
He looks like a warrior, but he has a kind face. Why could...
Nagamasa, I found this young guy in a cave sealed off by a landslide. He doesn't remember his name.
Well, we need to call you something. I hear the workers are calling you the Kabukimono.
That's fine with me.
Katsuragi, report to Niwa. Tell him we have someone new joining us.
Time to go.
Huh? What are we doing back here?
Whoa, this is where you were born?
I was abandoned, like you. I lived here for a while at first, but there's not...
Okay. I heard my mom and dad used to make swords, but the factory manager died. He kept coughing all the time, just like me.
But you can't.
Yup, we're family now.
This child didn't have a name. Or rather, the Balladeer didn't know what to call him. After his mother died, the child stayed in their straw hut alone. After leaving Tatarasuna, the Balladeer ran into this child who didn't have a name, just like him.
What happened to the child?
He died from his illness while he was still very young. The Balladeer...
Hey! What's wrong? Say something! You promised me we could be family!
You're... The voices have gone. It looks like...
Let's keep going.
You do realize you're blocking my path.
I come not to obstruct you. I've been waiting. What you are truly is a weapon. One that will be wielded with an iron will. Or you could continue to drift aimlessly.
you trying to win me over?
Long-fated rebellion has begun. Why not take your place at the banquet and...
This place is dark.
Paimon knows this place.
In the original version of events, the Traveler once encountered
such a creepy atmosphere. Hey, look over there!
Well, well, my fair lady. Is this rundown factory and these incompetent fools all for me?
Huh. What do you have to gain from belittling your subordinates? You might not. Perhaps you find fighting in the Abyss to be a more meaningful use of your time? Oh, but of course, even this pales in comparison.
What a funny how negotiating never seems to be your strong suit. For the task ahead, I suggest you keep your true feelings to your...
Save your breath. I know what I have to do.
I'm sure you think so, but I still think you need to hear it. Don't start thinking you're invincible. And don't let your emotions get in the way.
Surely you're not...
I just can't have you getting in my way. You and Child never fail to find ways to
I'm merely lighting a little fire in this chaotic nation. But you, being tossed out like trash, must make you want to destroy it complete. Do you remember the last time you were here? That was a lot of swordsmiths you killed. I'm sure the descendants of the Raiden Gokuden... Look at you. Oh, don't get so sentimental. Bye then. See you at the victory feast.
Poor little tongue? She's playing with fire. Forget it. Someone might
The plot does not end here. There is more.
Yes.
Why are you staring at me in silence? Can't you think of a nicer way to express yourself?
I'm under no obligation to be nice to you. Besides, I thought nothing mattered to you except results in your own interests. Isn't that
right? Muddle-headed puppet. You're only number 6 because you can take more abuse than others.
Looks like we've arrived in Sumeru.
Considering that Amorta's sage, Nafis, refused to join this project, I'll take part in the experiment.
Welcome. I look forward.
When do we start?
You seem impatient. You should know that becoming a god is far...
The biological transformation is a lengthy process. As such, I too would recommend that we commence as soon as possible. In the event that a successful connection is established, his body will become permanently bound to the machine.
Nothing worse than what I've been through before then, Doctor.
You were the most resilient test subject I ever came across. Thanks to you, I was able to go... Alas, after that, you were under orders to remain in the Abyss. We barely saw each other, and it became difficult to further refine the knowledge I had gained.
That was gracefully worded. Ever wonder what they think if they knew that nothing matters to you, apart from your crazy experiments?
I suggest you speak to me in a more respectful tone, Scaramouche. The mere fact of your utility does not make you
The doctor again?
That person gives off a very sinister energy.
It's normal for him to give you the creeps. He scares the bejeebers.
Let's move on.
You're a god. Do you think I'm...
If you accept that he is you, just as you are you, then yes, you are...
In your eyes? Are there...
Do you think there are any differences between your present self and your previous and future incarnations? If not, whoever has tasted the joys and sorrows of life in the human realm is human. Whoever has loved and lost, cried with grief, howled with rage at the tragedy of death that eclipses the miracle of life. They are human.
I've seen enough of my past. If possible, no matter the consequences, I won't run from blame or punishment. Can you return my memories to me?
Huh? But won't that mean...
I've always believed that human lives follow a set of rules. As a puppet living in a human world,
regaining your memories means reverting completely to your previous incarnation. Are you sure you...
I've lived with the void in my chest my whole life. My creator didn't need me. And ever since I awoke, I've just drifted from one... But then I met you. And I finally realized that... I've always felt I have an innate tendency to yearn for something more, in a way that goes deeper than for most people. But for all my soul-searching, so I beg you, grant...
Very well. Since your mind is made up, I will... You have made your decision. Now, take this.
Set him free?
A puppet? What's he doing here? You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful.
What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled.
This is... my...
Is he alright?
All worthless dross will be purged. That's why this won't be the end. This is trying your patience.
Have you got all your memories back now?
You got any more stupid questions? Churn! Insignificant past! Behold! Wretched vermin! At my command, you shall win rises! Squall and fury! Upon the gale!
My endless cycle begins! Behold! Know your place! Imbecile! What did you expect? I'd never lose to that.
There's the tone of voice again. You're definitely back to your old self. Wait, but it was you inside that thing too!
Sorry. I'm harsh on myself and everyone else. Just the way I am. You sound like... But don't worry. Thanks to you, even if I didn't change a thing...
The memory recovery seems to have been a success.
Come on.
Welcome back, Traveler.
It feels like we...
You don't like being addressed by that?
It's fine. But I was just thinking, after learning about everything the doctor did, there's no way I can carry on. I'm not planning on returning to the Fatui. And they wouldn't take me back anyway. Recent events will have affected a lot of people. And they might not...
So, you're quitting the Fatui for good?
It's like you said, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Everything may look futile, but it wasn't completely meaningless. At least I made a lot of people...
But that doesn't mean your own past has to...
Of course.
And your main goal, for which you gave up everything you had, you weren't able to achieve it. I hope you can... Changing the world, changing the past... What you were looking for is complete annihilation. But this is just a fantasy. Even if the Balladeer is removed from existence, the world...
Indeed.
Do you regret doing all that when you've gotten so little and...
Even if I'm completely worthless, there's nothing in the world worth regretting. Lesser Lord Kusanali, you purposely left that information in Irminsul, didn't you?
Yes, and I took pains to make sure that you'd acquire that info.
Why would you go to such lengths?
In all honesty, your past experiences have made you a useful asset to Sumeru and to me. Winning you over was indeed a part of... But before that, I wanted to tell you the truth about your past. If all I wanted to do was use you, then I'd be no different from the doctor.
Very clever.
I guess you could say that's...
Utility to others is what gives me worth. So if embracing my sins is what it takes to make me useful again... So, oh right, I almost forgot. You're the good guys. You're into justice and all that. Sorry if I have a slightly different perspective on things, but I don't feel like I've been duped. The wisest leaders are fated to end up with the best helpers.
I'm glad you're able to think of it, Traveler. In the future, I'll continue to search Irminsul, including the beginning of your twins' journey recorded in Irminsul. What exactly happened before and after that, I will try.
Traveler. After I dove into the information torrents in Irminsul, why did you go to Inazuma? So that's how you found out whose fate had changed. Well, whatever your reasons, you did me a favor. And I'll do everything I can to pay it back. Borrowing and returning are the only real relationships between individuals.
That's not true. A relationship between two people is not simply a ledger that can be I think deep down you realize this. People who show up in your life don't just evaporate like water drops and leave nothing behind. Some things in this world can never be brought back. And they can never be changed. Everything that you feel is real and lasting. And whatever is missing in you will not be made whole. To be human is to live with imperfections. You can...
But humans can't live without a heart. Can they? Anyway.
You understand what pain is perfectly well, even without a heart. The past is set in stone, but you can keep moving on. And the longer your future lasts, the shorter your past will become, until one day...
Sounds like you've got a future planned out for me.
Everything's ended up being pretty darn complicated. Paimon doesn't even know where to start, but...
Then I guess I'll be helping you from behind the scenes from now on.
I'm glad that you've accepted our proposal.
Paimon!
Why?
Because...
Then I...
A name is life's first gift. The Traveler and Paimon have helped you a lot. If you can't decide on a new name,
No! Paimon only does nicknames! If it's a serious...
Have you... You want to share your name with me? Huh?
there. Now you...
What about a nickname? Are you done yet? Take your time. I don't need to see you again until you've thought of one. Everyone who manipulates...
You mean...
The doctor.
Now that your stance has changed, I believe you...
One more thing. There are still some descendants of the Raiden Gokuden living in Inazuma. Some of them know. Well, I don't plan to leave Sumeru for the time being. If you see them in Inazuma, even though the events have been erased...
I see. Huh?
It's fine. Let them... What's that look for? That day will come. All right. Goodbye, wise deity. And you too.
He's gone!
What he went through today would have been like living an entire lifetime in an instant.
Yeah, true. But even so we can finally...
Thank you both. I hope you...
I've got it! I can end my novel with some words from Mikoshi...
You mean because everyone else in the story...
Yeah! I heard that Mikoshi Nagamasa died at... The dark clouds had dissipated, but they continued to cast their shadow in Mikoshi... Then, one night, as an old man, he had a dream. On the night when that prized blade, the Daitatara Nagamasa, was forged, the people rejoiced, and there was painting. All these expressions of joy melted down in the furnace fire and turned into red clouds that rallied around the final sunrise that Mikoshi Nagamasa saw in his life is a story too long to be told. A journey.
It's about time we had a break. As soon as you stop, all the tiredness and hunger comes... Wow! Huh? Look at the vase. Did someone break it while they were cleaning the room or something? But Paimon doesn't remember...
You sound lost and confused. I know why you are troubled. Any who knew of this would find their mind...
Huh? Is there some...
Unfortunately, the fate of Tevat cannot easily be changed. Perhaps a god may have a slim chance. But for anyone else... Who can say? When a small animal runs into a tree trunk, though the tree may sway, it is not displaced. The same like a vase that falls to the ground. Whether it is broken by a cat...
Who are you?
History does not change easily, but human hearts can. Believe.
The voices disappeared. And who the heck was that? And what were they doing? Anyway, that face is still lying there broken on the ground. It feels wrong just leaving it there.